Another form of modifier problem is called a dangling modifier. A dangling modifier is probably the worst out of all the modifier problems, including squinting modifiers and misplaced modifiers, because a dangling modifier is just flat out grammatically wrong. When you have a dangling modifier, the modifier isn't really attached to the thing that it's modified at all. In that way, you can think of it as kind of dangling off the sentence without a clear anchor. Let's look at two examples of dangling modifiers. This first sentence says, "Afraid of falling off the cliff, lots of care was taken." Okay, so we have this thing, afraid of falling off the cliff. But the thing that is afraid of falling off the cliff isn't in the sentence. And you can't stick a clause like this onto the sentence. The lots of care technically is the thing that's afraid of falling off the cliff, because that's what it's attached to. And that's not what you mean. Okay, so this is a dangling modifier. The modifier has nothing to connect to. Whereas if we added a subject, we could say, afraid of falling off the cliff, the climber took lots of care. Now, what's afraid of falling off a cliff? The climber. And so this second sentence isn't a dangling modifier, because we've connected the modifier, we've anchored it to the thing that it's modifying. Notice I couldn't just rearrange the words in this sentence. I had to add something that was missing, and that's the thing that's being modified. Let's look at another example. Working as hard as possible, the building quickly went up. Okay, so let's look at working as hard as possible. That's modifying something. But in this case, it's connected to the building. And clearly the building isn't working as hard as possible. And so this is a dangling modifier because the modifier is connected to something that isn't the thing it's modifying. In fact, it's missing, the sentence is missing the thing that's working as hard as possible. So I could change it to say, working as hard as possible, the workers put up the building. Okay. Now, what's working as hard as possible? The workers. And so, because I have the sentence working as hard as possible, and the thing that that's modifying is the workers, it's attached, it's anchored in this way. And so this is not a dangling modifier. I fixed the problem by adding the thing that was being modified to the sentence, and then it can attach right to that noun phrase. And so that's the problem of dangling modifiers and how to fix them.